Someone in your life keeps crossing lines repeatedly, yet somehow you still feel guilty saying no today. The scary part is they may not fear your anger, because anger still gives access and control. But there is one boundary that instantly changes everything, and most people never learn it early. Stay with me, because once your brain sees this pattern, you cannot unsee it ever again. Maybe you already know this person, the friend, coworker, partner, or relative draining emotional energy daily. Every conversation leaves you exhausted, confused, and strangely responsible for problems that were never yours. Here is where it gets interesting, because their power does not come from strength at all. It comes from something you keep giving away freely, without noticing, and that changes everything completely. By the end of this video, you will understand why toxic people hate one boundary most deeply. Not because it is aggressive, dramatic, loud, or cruel, but because it removes their favorite weapon. The moment you stop feeding that weapon, manipulation becomes harder, and fake respect starts collapsing. And the most surprising part is that this boundary requires fewer words, not stronger arguments ever. The boundary most people misunderstand. Most people believe boundaries work better when supported by detailed explanations, careful reasoning, and emotional transparency. That sounds logical, yet your brain often confuses explaining yourself with protecting yourself from conflict. But something strange happens next. The more you explain, the less seriously some people listen. Because manipulators rarely use explanations for understanding, they use them for negotiation, pressure, and control. Think about the last time you finally said no after feeling overwhelmed by constant demands everywhere. Instead of accepting your answer, someone immediately questioned your reasons and challenged your personal limits. The scary part is they were not studying your explanation to understand your situation better. They were searching for weak spots where your confidence could be softened, stretched, and redirected again. This is the boundary toxic people struggle handling, a clear limit without unnecessary emotional justification attached. You calmly state your decision, then stop talking, before guilt pushes extra words into conversations. The moment you see this pattern, you realize explanations often become doors for manipulation later. A clean boundary leaves fewer openings, making control harder and revealing hidden intentions much faster. Why this changes everything. Toxic people do not fear boundaries themselves. They fear losing access to your emotional resources completely. When explanations disappear, confusion disappears too, and their usual influence begins weakening much more quickly. That is why some people become unusually upset after hearing a calm and simple answer. A healthy person respects limits eventually, but a controlling person treats limits like personal rejection. Quiet growth and the power of less. Your brain becomes stronger when actions stay consistent, instead of constantly defending every decision repeatedly. That quiet process creates lasting confidence, which is the exact philosophy behind quiet growth today. Here is where it gets interesting. Fewer words often create more respect than endless justification. Because self-respect grows when your decisions stand independently, without requiring outside approval first. The reaction reveals the person. Watch carefully after setting a boundary, because the reaction often reveals more than words ever. Some people adjust respectfully, while others increase pressure, guilt, criticism, or emotional performance immediately. The most painful part is realizing certain relationships depended more on access than genuine respect. Yet that realization is valuable, because clarity protects your future from repeated emotional exhaustion cycles. The one practice to start this week. Today, remember the lesson clearly. Toxic people struggle most with boundaries carrying no unnecessary explanation. Your brain was never weak. It simply learned habits that prioritized comfort over personal protection. This week, practice one calm phrase, then allow silence to hold the boundary afterward naturally. Because once self-respect becomes automatic, manipulation loses power and genuine peace becomes possible.